Hello, time for a little bit more honing. I'm back with my La Petite Blanche Coticule, new to me. This was going to be the second time I've used it, and I'm going to use it once more on on this Geneva Cutlery razor, which the only time I've honed this razor was on this stone, and I've used it to shave several times. I like the edge, it's comfortable. I've gotten good shaves from it, but I need to find out if there's any more in this stone. So I'm going to take it back and see what pushing the stone a little bit results in, or pushing the edge on this stone a little bit results in. And the way I'm going to do that is to go back with sort of a delicate. I'm not going to go back with a super heavy. I'm not going to stay too long on the heavier slurry, but I want to go back and make sure that the overall bevel shape is as good as this stone can do, and then we'll do what we normally do. We'll refine on this stone by diluting the edge. Now I need to hang on, I'm going to pause. I just realized I don't have any water to dilute with. All right, I now have some water handy here for dilution. We have not the thickest slurry ever, but we also don't have a completely dull razor. So we're going to get going. This is this Coticule has an amazing feel. It's unique. I've had several, but this La Petite Blanche is really something. You can see slurry is graying up pretty quickly. And all I'm doing is what I normally do, just going back and forth, feeling the edge. Now I'm going to, this is more for people who are sort of just beginning with using slurries. This is not for any of the typical folks who actually interact with me, but if you happen to see this and you're kind of new and you're on a slurry and you say, well, you know, how do I know where to stop? Well, what you do is use the packing peanut method. At any point, just check sharpness. Now I have an edge that is just absolutely sliding in to the packing peanut with almost no effort. And this is a brand new packing peanut. So if I were new to this, I would say to myself, okay, well, I think I'm there. But just to make sure, I'll do a little bit more. And then I'll check again. and that test was actually pretty good. But, you know, I've never used this stone before. I mean, I've used the stone once before, so I don't have much experience with the stone. So at this level of slurry, I don't know what it can do. And so this is even a method that I would employ. So now let's check it again. And the trick here is, if it gets significantly better, then we keep going. Now this is not much better. I'd say it's a little bit improved, but not much better. So for somebody who is new, I would say, you know, maybe you would, I've just added just a tiny bit of water. I'm going to have to build slurry and thin it after this. But okay, so now I've even gone a little further. So now let's check again. And this is overkill for an experienced person. But you know, if you're trying to just feel your way through this, this is a way of checking. Okay, so I'm really about the same as it's been. So my conclusion is that at this level, there isn't much more that the stone and this level of slurry can give me. Now, instead of diluting an already a slurry that's kind of already gone, I'm going to rebuild it. I'm going to build a thin slurry. And we'll build on this. We'll build an edge on this. In the previous, I have more volume than I did before, but this is waterier, more watery, thinner. I'm using, as the edge becomes sharper, I use pressure that allows me to feel what's happening at the edge. So generally, when all I care about is removing material, I use more pressure. But as I start to gain keenness on the edge, and I'm going to redo a tutorial on sharpening, and I'll define all these terms. But basically, as the razor gets sharper, has the ability to cut better, the edge gets thinner and more delicate right at the apex. And so I lighten up pressure so I can feel what's happening at that area where it's now thinner and more delicate. Beautiful. I'm also watching, again, this is not for the pros. This is for somebody who is kind of new to this. I'm watching how the slurry flows over the edge. With no pressure like this, I want that slurry to just jump over the edge easily. And I know that I'm doing the same work to each side. If the feel is the same and if the action of the slurry is the same. So this is soundless. Feels very easy. I'm going to use my recommendation. Just take it a little further. Okay. Add a little water. It's easier to. What I'm doing with my left hand is moving pressure on the blade to adapt to what I feel. If I feel that I want to feel that the same again, I want to feel the same nature of the edge everywhere on the edge. Sure feels good. And I'm down at almost very delicately pushing the edge. You can see that that's just hopping up. If I went quickly, it would hop all the way. But it's more important to me. I only care about the first 1/2 millimeter of the edge. Everything else doesn't really matter. So that's why I go slowly. I want to and sort of work on how it feels. I want that part to be just perfect. All right, let's do a little diluting. If you were new, you would test. I'm not testing because I know that I'm already pretty sharp, and I'm now interested in seeing how far can this edge be pushed. I'm drawing out the edge, also cleaning the edge. So this motion across helps to normalize the edge, but also clean it of burr. And having drawn out that edge, you can see just how easily the slurry goes across it. Adding a lot of water here. I'm now in misty slurry land. All right. I'm going to finish again on oil just to see how that goes. So I'm going to pause for just a sec. Okay, so I found the baby oil. Never quite sure where that is. I'm going to get rid of the water here on the top of this stone. Microfiber doesn't really leave any lint, but just double checking. Okay. Just a thin layer of oil. All right. Very, very light. For trailing edge strokes, 2 hands is very nice. Okay, I'm really just sliding the razor across the surface here to let what little polishing action the garnet will do with this very, very low level of friction that's provided by the oil. All right, let's wash this off and test it. Here's the packing peanut. Going in pretty effortlessly. Okay, I'm going to strop it. Take a look under the microscope, as is normal for these things, and then I will be right back. Okay, well, the microscope image looks pretty much like the last edge looked, and I want to try something different. So what I've done is I've washed the oil off the stone here, and make sure the stone is clean. And I'm going to put a slurry back. Make a very, very, very loose slurry here. And I'm going to, instead of finishing on oil, try to do the misty slurry idea with optimal no rinse, or optimum no rinse, ONR. See if this edge looks any different. All right, let's do some testing. This is just playing around. We could have gone backwards, but that's kind of the idea. You learn. I learn by failing most of the time. Okay, let's see where we are here. Pretty sharp. Let's take my own advice and take it a little further. Okay, see if we accomplished anything. Yes, we did. Yes, that's going in more easily. Okay, let's pause, go take a look at the edge, and I'll be right back. Okay, here we are for the final test. I did 25 laps on the fire hose linen and 40 laps on steer hide leather here. Let's go for our final test, which is we're definitely, this is pushing into the cloud for this. That's just exactly, I mean, soundless, effortless. There's a tiny bit of softness as you go into as you feel the resistance of the packing peanut. That's why I call it pushing into the cloud. There's something there, but it feels as if it has no structure at all. Okay, that's it. Next is to see how this shaves. I have some razors coming in, so when they arrive, I'll be doing some more honing videos. Until then, I'll see you.